I'm delighted to be meeting here with Professor Panos Vostanis from, I know that you're a professor of psychiatry in child psychiatry in Great Britain, is that
Yes,
right?
yes.
I wonder if you could talk to us about the work that you do. I know that you work in a number of countries around the world with projects and that are working with children who are in difficult circumstances, or with child trauma centres as part of the World Awareness for Children in Trauma programme.
So I have been working for years, both in the UK and in other countries, whether high income or low middle income, over the years, with children, as you said, who experience quite extreme adversities, like those who are in care, homeless, in contact with the courts. And my interest, particularly in recent years, has been how do you develop or improve service interventions, particularly where there is lack of specialist input, like you might have in high-income countries. And it's exactly brought me to the work that UCONI and Railway Children, many other organizations around the world do so efficiently. So that's how it was. That's the question behind the World Awareness for Children Trauma program. It was not to invent new interventions, it was to integrate different levels of existing interventions in difficult circumstances, but also to promote evidence training, building networks and capacity within organizations, and it has gradually grown in that direction.
And so the kinds of things that you might do in one of the projects where you're working as part of this program would be, what kind of thing would you be doing?
Well, in an ideal world, what we have established, as I said, from existing work, but also from reports in specific circumstances, not just generally theoretical approaches, is which it's not different from Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that you start from safety, which is not just obviously you need child protection legislation and implementation and training, but it's also about improving environments, which can be punitive, make them more child-centered, changing attitudes toward child labor. That's the first level, and depending when each organization, community, society is at, it obviously varies. The second level is promoting quality of parenting or caregiving, if it's in residential homes, for example. Very much what UCONI are doing, whether it's family support, family interventions, attachment focus, work like therapy. The third level is sometimes the only way in is through schools, very important, but also through community, resilience building through schools, sports, social activities, but with some, as a speaker, Mary Gatana mentioned in the conference, with intention that is particularly developed or adjusted for children who have been victims. The fourth level is using existing therapeutic techniques like creative approaches, not as therapy, but to, let's say, to promote, to help children express their anger, deal with their anger, develop better coping strategies.
So therapeutic rather than therapy.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like a continuum. And then we have the more traditional approaches, which, having said that, I've been very impressed with the approach I have heard at a conference in very difficult circumstances. That is, they have evolved from those developed for stable populations and increasingly being adapted for the needs of street children, but also in societies like Tanzania or Mexico, whether they're individual, family or parenting approaches. And then the top of the pyramid is access to mental health services, which can be difficult in low-income countries, but at least it can be more targeted and improving coordination.
So it sounds like you're working at very many different levels within society: policy, government, community, family, institutions.
Yes, ideally you need that. I'm conscious that it's not going to happen in most circumstances, but I think it's important to have that awareness. Very much influenced, I think, many people working in the field by a resilience model that views resilience as a dynamic process, again influenced by ecological theory, that it is, you have the child, the family, the school, the community, and then the wider society, cultural beliefs, attitudes. You cannot change all of them at the same time, but I think being aware is important
to all of those areas within the system.
Yes.
If you think about Tanzania as the setting that we're in today, here
Yes.
at the conference in Dar es Salaam, and the kinds of projects that are here in participating in this conference are, very many of them are practitioners who are working in the field with children who are either living or working on the streets, and many of them have as their aim family reintegration of the child. In your experience, which I know is over many different countries, what do you think might be some of the most important things for these practitioners to be bearing in mind when they think about what it is that they're going to do in the field?
One is that in any society, but particularly in the absence of specialist resources, the more complex and multiple a child's needs are, and we're talking about one of the most challenging in society, the more you need agencies to collaborate, to integrate, ideally, social welfare and healthcare in ideal circumstances. So coordination between agencies, not reinventing the wheel, adapting existing interventions, but also having that dialogue at a higher level, whether it's local government and ideally central government in any country. Particularly so when there are big gaps, that is to maximize what's available, but also to maximize limited resources and target them efficiently.
Thank you very much.